Welcome back to another episode of Scary True Stories. Now all these stories were posted in the comments section of my previous videos. I'll be sure to leave the name of the people who posted them in the description below. I don't know if this is creepy, but here's my story. When I was 5, I would always see dark figures with glowing eyes. I would always follow these, only to reveal nothing there. This continued for the next 2 years, then stopped. 2.5 years later, at 11, 12, and 1, my doorknob would shake vigorously like someone was trying to open my door, but couldn't. This continued till I was 11, and then stopped. After my birthday, my mother found our butter, cut up and stabbed. After this, my stuff would start moving strangely, and 2 months ago, I finally saw it. What had become of the demon? I didn't get a good look, but I could tell that it was a female. My mother then bought crosses at a sale, and for some reason, the demon was gone. I still expect to see it sometimes. By the way, this thing spoke to me when I was 6, and for some reason, when I was 1 and 4, I couldn't see anything, just this dark void. The day I exited, I heard this, "Please don't leave me," and I realized that it doesn't continue to show itself in a physical form, but it does show itself as a shadow. And when I shower, now I hear footsteps outside of the bathroom, thinking it's my brother, but it's not. Number 2. I was around 19 and my family and I just moved to this really small house in a not so nice neighborhood. As we were moving in, a few neighbors are standing around watching us, and one older man asked my dad if we were really moving in. My dad talks to him for a little while and finds out that everyone around there thinks it's a haunted house. My dad just tells them we don't believe in that, and we finish moving in. Fast forward a few days and I'm home alone, as I had left high school and hadn't started college yet. I decide to do a few chores around the house, cleaning and such, and I am doing the dishes. The kitchen is very small, so small that only one person can be there at a time. I'm standing at the kitchen, at the sink, and I feel like someone is breathing in my ear. And when I turn to look, I get pushed from behind like I'm being shoved out of the way so someone can walk right behind me. I freak a little and leave the kitchen. And after a few hours of nothing else happening, I decide to take a shower. The bathroom is off the kitchen and had 2 locks on it from the inside. All the doors in the house were like this, and a few looked like they had been kicked in. I'm in the shower and I hear loud footsteps from the dining room and coming through the kitchen. Well, I'm already starting to freak out that someone is in my house and I have no way to get out of the house at this point, because if you stood in front of the bathroom, you blocked the way to the rest of the house. I'm standing in the bathroom kicking myself for not grabbing the phone to call the cops or my parents. Well, as the footsteps reach the bathroom door, there is a banging at the bathroom door like someone is trying to break in, and a man yelling for me to open the door to get out. The door is starting to bang louder and louder and louder. And then when I opened the door, no one was there. The door handle was hot, like someone was holding onto it for a long time. I never showered again, alone. And even though that it was 10 years ago, I'm married now and I have 3 kids, I still won't shower when I'm home alone, unless I bring my phone and a knife. Number 3. Me and my husband were looking for a cot, as I was 7 months pregnant with my daughter, and at the time we needed something cheap because we were both 3/4 way through our teacher training courses. I searched Craigslist and read this ad. It said something like, "Woman wishing to sell beautiful crib after my gorgeous little girl was taken from me." I felt sorry for her and contacted her, asking to come and collect it. Her address was reasonably close, considering that the cot was free. I drove to Liverpool from Chester. The house was in a lovely area for Liverpool. A woman or girl, as she looked about fucking 10, ushered me in. Her nosy bitch of a next door neighbor was looking at me like I was a fucking freak, and now I see why. I got in and admired her house. Basically, she asked if I wanted to go see the cot. She led me up the stairs, and I got quite creeped out as the pictures on the walls looked nothing like the woman and were only a couple photos. Then my stomach dropped and I heard, "Is she fucking here yet? I need to take a piss." It was a man's voice, and it came from a room upstairs. I grabbed my pregnant tummy and sprinted down the stairs and into my car. Being pregnant, I got so out of breath from this short run, and I looked out of my passenger side mirror and I shit myself. A massive bearded man was limping out of the house and getting into the car behind me. I stayed as still as possible in case he hadn't seen me in my car. But then he rammed the back of my car over and over again. I turned my ignition on and sped home about 30 to 40 miles per hour speed limit. This weirdo close behind me. I didn't drive home because I didn't want this freak show knowing where I lived. I pulled up to my husband's university. He was currently in a lecture. I called him and practically jumped out of my car towards his lecture hall. This bearded bloke still following me, slowly with this freaky ass grin on his face. My husband picked up his phone and answered, "Yeah?" I saw the hall door open and Steve, my husband, walked out. His phone pressed to his ear. As he saw me, he shit himself, as he knew that I only ran when food was involved or when I was being chased. Then he saw this bearded man behind me. His walk was fucking weird. He walked as if one leg was shorter than the other, and was dressed like he lived on beans and his own piss. I grabbed my husband as this bloke came over to us. Steve stepped up to him and I whimpered. My husband is 6'9". This man was about a head taller than him. The bloke then tried to jump at me, saying that he was gonna rape my baby in its sleep. At this point, I was screaming and crying. My husband took none of his shit and tried to pull him away from me. This bloke then grabbed my arm. I still have the mark 4 years later, and I now realized the power of this man. I am 4'9", and I'd put him about 7.5 feet. He leaned down to my face and said, "I'll do you right in front of your fella." At this point, Steven was livid and pretty much tackled this bloke. I proceeded to call the police to find that this guy and his daughter and wife had been terrorizing pregnant women in the northwest of Britain, hiding in people's houses while they were on holiday. Anyways, my daughter is now 4, and we all avoid Craigslist forever. Number 4. Back when I was 10, there were these shadow people. They came out at a specific time of night and just stared at me. I know this might seem weird, but it's real. Fast forward to my 11th birthday, things got weirder. I didn't see the people anymore. I saw my doorknobs shake and an occasional stomp in the attic. Fast forward again to present day. I'm 14 and I have a friend. We'll call her Liz. I used to go over to Liz's house constantly, and I had an idea in January that she should come over to my place. She had agreed, and once she stepped into my room, she said that something was off. Liz and I play around with paranormal things, and she even has a Ouija board. We decided to put a recorder in the room when we slept, and by the time we checked through all the recordings, there was one that still scares me. Get out now, get out now, get out now, get out now. It sounded like a man gone insane. She doesn't talk to me, she even moved. I have yet to tell my family, but I haven't seen the spirit or tried to make contact since. Number 5. When I was 14, I'm 18 now. I was babysitting my cousins. They were playing outside and I was watching TV. When it was 10 p.m. exactly, the TV turned off. I got up and I turned it back on. At 10:05, the TV and lights went out. I thought that it was just a malfunction and I turned them back on. At 10 past, the lights and TV turned off again, but this time I heard a man call my name. My full name. At this point I was crapping myself. I looked around and saw a face illuminated by a torch. He was smiling, a mental creepy smile, and staring a creepy stare. It stares right at me. I ran to the garden and locked the back door. I got the kids over the fence and then jumped over myself. We went to my house across the street and called the cops. When they got there, they brought the man I saw and another man dressed the same. As they shoved the man into the van, they stared right at me and smiled, that creepy smile. We all moved out into a house together a month after I told my parents. We were never left alone again. I'm still not allowed to move out just in case they come back. Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. If you have a scary story to tell yourself, leave it in the comment section below, and it might end up in my next video. So until then, this is a goodbye for now.